Thank you, and welcome to Mr. Patrick's Corner. Today we're going to talk about my favorite politician, Gavin Newsom. He's thinking about running for president. He's going to run if Mr. Biden decides to retire. I think Mr. Biden should retire because I think he's too old. I don't think Kamala Harris is worth a bucket of water. She's just she doesn't strike me as being a very a kind of a president who will get things done. And it's not because that she's a woman. I've seen a lot of Shirley Chisholm Black from Texas. Was she ran as kind of like a spoil sport candidate in the Democratic Party, and she was the most enjoyable person to listen to. She wasn't a pretty lady, but she was smart as hell, and she was and she had a lot of good points. Sorry she passed away of ovarian cancer, but I think she was probably one of the greatest politicians we've produced in this country. Smart, intelligent. That's what you want to see in your legislators. Except let's see, we've got Gavin Newsom. We've got, on the Republican side, we've got Kevin McCarthy, the wonderful Louis Gohmert from Texas. He's so smart, he once questioned two employees of the United States State Department, and he thought that because they are Indian, and one was a naturalized Indian and the other one was born here, and he explained to them, he was explaining to them how he wanted them to get their government. Now he didn't realize that they were working for the American State Department, because maybe if you're going to talk to Indians, it might be nice that everybody speaks the same language. And the old guy who is a naturalized American, he's holding back because he's ready to break out laughing. But he's a diplomat. He's not supposed to laugh. He's supposed to keep a straight face. And the poor girl, she was looking like, oh my, what am I going to do here? He thinks that we're from the Indian government, and that's a sample of what we have in our wonderful Congress. And then we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, another exemplary politician who is absolutely a donut. There's just a big hole in the middle and nothing there. Okay, getting back to Gavin Newsom. So far, he's pushed for this, his air quality board that he's put forward, wants to regulate RVs. Even RVs that aren't registered in California. He wants to control the emissions. Now, I hate to break it to you guys, but you could take the diesel electric locomotives, all the trucks, all the cars, and all the the trucks, and one container makes up more pollution than all of those combined. And we get them coming in all the time. What they've got is kind of like, you go to an RV park and you can plug in your RV to work off the power grid at the RV park. Well, they've got it in the ports. The big old container ship comes over, the longshoremen just plug them in, and they use shore-based power. And it's a pretty good deal. Well, we still have pollution. We've still paid more on supposedly we're supposed to get I don't know what we're getting, because the RV, Jerry Brown was our governor. There was a shortfall. We had a big shortfall in our budget because of all the screwy stuff about 2008. And so to fill up all the holes, he increased the fees on all the tags, motor vehicle tags for your trucks, your cars, and whatever. And when things got better, he said that he would be giving, the rates would go back. They haven't gone back. So Mr. Gavin Newsom's got $97 billion. Now, what is Mr. Gavin Newsom going to do with that? Oh, did I tell you he spent $50 million to SEMA for all their emergency travel trailers that they bought for housing people for earthquakes and stuff like that, and hurricanes down in Texas? And there was 1,500 of them. He paid $50 million. I think he got screwed, but hey, that's not me. It's what he did. Okay, and he gave them to Vera Lugosa down in Los Angeles to house the homeless. How many people in the homeless shelters did these travel trailers house? None. Zippo. He could have put them out in the veterans, over at the Veterans Center on the west side of the 405 freeway, and put a nice little deal for them so that you could house at least a minimum of 1,500 veterans who need housing. They need training. They need support services. All that could be accomplished. You could have done it in a very well organized method. You could have brought in some of the military guys, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Coast Guard, and they could have helped with setting this thing up. Because there's plenty of room out there for it. And believe it or not, that was what it was supposed to be. But this is California. They housed parrots out there. They had a sanctuary for parrots, but not a sanctuary for veterans. Only my state, you talk to people and they think everybody in California is cracked or screwy or has a board loose somewhere. It's like they actually did a deal where they wanted 20,000 Californians signed a petition to bring back the California grizzly. My God, isn't that fantastic? They're going to bring back this extinct creature. They're going to bring plains grizzlies in, and they're going to have all these grizzly bears running around California. All right. Santa Monica used to be there, because you ever see the flag of California? It's got the grizzly and the coast and the beach. Well, the last grizzly was killed in Santa Monica. And that's right off the beach, because what these little guys used to do was they were good at eating California ground squirrels, which we have in abundance. But they also had this nasty habit of eating sheep and goats and cows. The ranchers didn't exactly enjoy this. And then you got the occasional, if you put them out there now, they can maybe eat a couple of bikini-clad, dim-witted Californians. And, hey, you come to California, you get eaten. That's a wonderful thing. Yeah, well, that's Gavin Newsom. He hasn't come up with a program that makes sense. We have a crisis in the Central Valley. We have the ground sinking. Tulare Lake is basically drying up. It was a giant lake, and then they started taking the water out. Something like what the brainy Russians did with the Azov Sea. They used the water for growing cotton, and they never thought about how badly that's going to affect the environment, and it did. We have the same problem with Tulare Lake. What you got to do is bring back the water. We could do that by desalination. Like I said before, make a deal with Governor Cox in Utah. He has a problem with, so he needs salt water, brackish water. We'll have plenty of brackish water coming out of the desalination plants. Instead of dumping it back in the ocean, which has a lot of different problems, we could actually send that brackish water to Utah and refill the Great Salt Lake. That would help him because he's got the same problem these other knuckleheads down here did. Because now, once this white stuff forms, it has all these nasty chemicals in it, and it's not good for the health of the people. And Utah, Salt Lake City, which is named after the Great Salt Lake, they have the same problem. They're going to have a lot and lots of uh, heavy metals and other stuff that's going to pollute the air around it. We could solve both problems. Governor Cox and Governor Newsom could get together, sit down, and come up with a plan. Then you could figure out how to get the. We have lots of sunlight in this state. We could be using that. It generates power. It would power the wonderful desalination plants, and we could also figure up some battery power. And if we did all that, we would be able to generate enough power to maybe even sell some of our extra and have enough power so we could get rid of a lot of our natural gas burning electric plants for generation. Well, I don't know about everything. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a professional. But you know what? If a dumb truck driver can come up with some ideas, you think that Gavin Newsom could bring in some experts, study the problem, and come up with a solution. And that includes Governor Cox. Because Governor Cox is a Mormon, and it seems to me that these Mormons know how to move water. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you have a pleasant afternoon. Please subscribe and like.